involving students, the SRC committee, into your management system, if they are helping hand to the institute in carrying out the different programs of the institute, etc., then that is considered to be the best practice, but it has to be carried out for years together. For these 5 years a period of one cycle, this culture has to be, you can say, organized in an organized manner, adapted by the institute, then only it can be called as the best practice. So for that, you have to frame out the policies, and you have to reflect those policies into each and every criterion that you are planning out. You have to plan out each and every criterion right from the beginning, I would say even before 5 years from now, so that you can submit your SSR easily and in a very understanding manner to the NAAC. Okay, so it has to be reflected into each and every criterion. It becomes a part of culture of the HEI Institute, and then rest everything that what we have to do is according to what is given in the matrix. Now I would like to mention and bring it to the notice of the participants over here is that we are preparing, as I told you, as I suggested you, that you should start your preparations 5 years before you have to submit your SSR. Now what is NAAC doing is that NAAC is frequently changing the framework. Okay, some of the matrices are here and there shuffled every now and then, suppose we may be preparing with one download manual that has been downloaded by us some 2 months back, and suddenly the 3rd month you will see that some matrices have been changed, some expectations have been changed, and some SOPs have been changed into the, we can say, site of the NAAC. So there is always a frequent changes coming, and every time I would ask the IQAC coordinators, I would, you can say, suggest the IQAC coordinators that every time, you can say within once in a week, you have to just visit the site of the NAAC, see what changes have come into the manuals and the, you can say, framework of the NAAC, see if anything is being uploaded by NAAC in a newer manner or not. So we have to be always at a check on the site of the NAAC. Otherwise, we'll miss the train. Okay, and it will become very difficult because we would be preparing it according to the old manual, and then when we are going for the submission, everything would have been changed. That they are not bringing any drastic change. One way or other, they are just reshuffling the things so that we do not copy paste it from some other SSR, or we do not copy paste the policies, etc., because they want an authenticity from us, that we are very authentically submitting the quality initiatives. We are projecting our quality initiatives of HEI to the NAAC. That is why there is some frequent changes occurring. Just now when the IQAC cluster meeting was also there, and I happened to be participating into that meeting because of our principal Modi sir, and I came to know that the AQAR, the new AQR which is coming up, is now going to become more difficult. मैं यहाँ पे डरा नहीं रही हूँ, लेकिन how difficult it is going to become, because usually what used to happen up till now is that कि 5 साल आराम से खत्म हो जाता है या 4 साल आराम से खत्म हो जाता है, फिर एकदम सोचना शुरू कर देते हैं कि वो अभी तक तो हमारे सारे AQR सबमिट करना बाकी है, उसके बाद हम SSR बनाएंगे. तो एक साथ 4 AQR अपलोड करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाती है जब हमें SSR सबमिट करना होता है. तो what happens is that कि NAAC says that कि वो बनावटी बना के AQR को पहले से नहीं बनाते, लास्ट मोमेंट में सबमिट कर देते हैं और उसके बाद SSR में भी कुछ बना के भेज देते हैं. तो they want to make some changes into the AQR also. What they are going to do is that they are going to, you can say, make AQR as a mini SSR. It's an yearly SSR. So whatever preparations, whatever planning, whatever policies you have to frame out for each and every criterion of NAAC has to be done from the beginning of the first year itself. Otherwise, you would, again I would say, miss the train, and you'll not be able to add anything at the end of the 5 years. Okay, so this is what is new coming now. So whatever you want to adapt for your institution, whatever policies you want to implement for your institution, now it is going to be like that. For that particular year, that AQR which you are submitting, and that AQR itself, it is going to be included. You have no choice of including it at the end of the 5th year. So these are some of the preparations that we ought to do before going for the submission of the SSR. Now, the IQAC coordinator is working everywhere, but the main, you can say, problem faced by the IQAC is that it is just has become a documentation bureau. Okay, the documents are being collected, and then the documents are being filed up, they are being scanned, put into the computers, and then that is what is the work of the IQAC done. It's not like that. Each and every document of each and every activity of each and every criteria that you are submitting, the IQAC has to be there. It has to be seen in each and every document that you are doing. Otherwise, what is the use of, you can say, establishing an IQAC in your institute? Because IQAC is the cell that is responsible to initiate the qualities, to implement the qualitative procedures, and to enhance that qualitative aspects into the HCI. So every document that you are making should make that IQAC come out in a significant manner as a significant component of the governance of the institute. Because if you read the manuals of NAAC, you will see that IQAC coordinator is an advisor to the principal. The IQAC coordinator feels that I want to implement certain activity or certain courses, or I want to add up some courses for the institute. Then there is a procedure for that, and that procedure has to be followed by the IQAC, and those documents should reflect the significant role of IQAC. Then and then only the IQAC's importance can be seen, that is given by HCI, and that would be seen in the submission of SSR also. अदरवाइज नहीं तो पीयर टीम मेंबर जब भी आएंगे बोलेंगे IQAC ने किया क्या है, यहाँ पे कुछ दिखता तो नहीं है आपके डॉक्यूमेंट में कि IQAC कहाँ पे है. ओके, तो IQAC को जागरूक रखने के लिए, IQAC को एक सिग्निफिकेंट कंपोनेंट की तरह दिखाने के लिए, you have to reflect the role of IQAC in each and every document that you are submitting. Okay, so quality improvement initiatives and paperwork is of course the work of the IQAC, and it's a step-by-step process. My slide shows that initially a suggestion is made to the principal, a proposal is being submitted to the principal. So suppose if I want to add up some add-on courses for my institute, for example, suppose if I want to add a sewing course, a tailoring course for my students of this institute, then I would write a letter or rather an email to the principal in the form of a proposal, and ask him or request him to go through this proposal. After having gone through, he will discuss about it with me. That is the second step towards adapting that particular initiative into the institute. And then if he finds it viable, because principal is the leader, he is at most, you can say, the decision maker of the institute. Okay, so if he finds it viable for the institute, then he will call a meeting, or he would just take an appointment of the management and go and discuss with the management, and found viable would be allowed to initiate that system into the you can say HCI. Okay, so what I've written over here is that we do not have to every now and then go to the management and the principal and disturb them. We can go twice in a year. So once in 6 months we can frame out the policies into our mind, put it on the paper, make it in the form of proposal. एक साथ सब कुछ सबमिट कर दो, जो सर को वायबल लगे, प्रिंसिपल सर को वायबल लगे, उसको लेके मैनेजमेंट के साथ डिस्कस करेंगे. मैनेजमेंट बाद में उसको वायबल लगता है, उनको वायबल लगता है, तो फिर he will give a green signal to the principal, and then we can initiate it. If certain procedure is to be involved with the government, UGC, university, we have to go accordingly. So this proposal, minutes of the meeting, whatever you have discussed with the principal and the management, all that has to be submitted in each and every activity that you are doing. Then and then only the role of the IQAC would reflect it over there. Now I come down to the main, I can say, task of today, and that is the criterion number 6, which I want to expound it in front of you and evaluate and make the participant understand also that what is the significance of governance, leadership and management among all the criterions of the NAAC, as well as how can we work towards it. Okay, how can we have a preparation for that? Now this is something that has to do with the different components of governance of the HEI. That is starting from the, I would say, the local governance. I won't include the government over here, the university over here, but the governance is a matter of the internal administration and management. So the leadership qualities, the leadership initiatives adapted by the institute will reflect again back into the quality enhancement program of submitting the SSR of the HEI. So over here, what I would like to can say summarize over here for the governance, leadership and management is that there are 5 key indicators of governance, leadership and management criterion number 6. There are 5 key indicators, okay, out of which quantitative metrics Q and M, there are 7 quantitative metrics, and qualitative metrics are 10 in number for this particular criterion. Now, so far as the procedure of submission or writing of the report is concerned, I would just concentrate on the criterion 6 and tell you that quantitative matrix, when we are submitting the quantitative matrix, we already have a document in the form of an SOP, the standard operating procedure, which describes and guides us that what kind of documents are to be submitted to or uploaded in the electronic format of SSR. Okay, so it's quite clear in the SOP that what preparations we have to do for that particular metric of that particular criterion. It applies to all the criterion, but I'm just concentrating on 6 criterion over here. So for quantitative matrix, those 7 quantitative matrix, we have the guidance given in the SOP by the NAAC itself. वहाँ पे लिखा है कि क्या आपको अपलोड करना है और DVV में क्या पूछा जाएगा और क्या आपको अपलोड नहीं करना है, ये भी दिया गया है. So there are 3 columns given over there. ऐसे तो 4 कॉलम है जिसमें एक में मैट्रिक डिफाइन किया गया है, बाकी 3 कॉलम में कौन से पहले वाले कॉलम में कौन से डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपको अपलोड करने, उसके दूसरे वाले में DVV में क्या पूछा जाएगा. ओके, कहीं पे आप अगर सबमिट नहीं कर पाते हो तो वो जरूर DVV में आएगा, इट विल डेफिनेटली कम इनटू DVV. और उसके बाद आपको क्या नहीं सबमिट करना चाहिए. जैसे कल हेमंत सर बोल रहे थे कि अगर आपके ट्रस्ट या कोई फैकल्टी मेंबर ने कोई रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट को स्पॉन्सर किया तो वो नहीं इंक्लूड किया जाता. दैट इज बीइंग गिवन इन द SOP. ओके, सो it is very much clear to us over here that quantitative matrix में हमें कौन से डॉक्यूमेंट्स अपलोड करने, जिसकी वजह से हमें एक डायरेक्शन भी मिल जाएगा कि हमें क्या प्रिपेयर करना है उन मैट्रिक्स के लिए, और उसके साथ साथ हमें क्या नहीं भी करना है ये भी हमको समझ में आता है. कम से कम DVV आए उसके लिए हमें क्या हार्डवर्क करना है, उसके लिए हमें कैसे प्रिपरेशन करना है, वो भी उसमें से हमें समझ में आ जाता है. क्वालिटेटिव मैट्रिक्स जो है दैट इज QLMs, वो 10, they are 10 in number, and what is being asked by NAAC is that you have to give it in the form of a descriptive description over there of 500 words. The limit is 500 words. Even if you write a word more than 501 word भी लिखते हो तो electronic format उसको accept नहीं करता है. It will not accept, it will not get saved. Again, you will have to can say copy it down. So when you are preparing for the SSR, you have to prepare a rough and you can say keep it aside about all these descriptions, and those things can be copied and pasted into the electronic format. अगर उसमें से एक word भी ज्यादा हो गया तो वो फॉर्मेट एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा, वो निकल जाएगा, वापस आपको कॉपी पेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. तो ये हमें ध्यान रखना है कि 500 के अंदर आता है, 500 वर्ड्स के अंदर हम उस मैट्रिक को डिस्क्राइब कर सकते हैं, जिसमें कल सर ने बहुत अच्छी बात की, इट्स अ फ्यूजन बिटवीन द क्वांटिटेटिव एंड क्वालिटेटिव. क्वालिटेटिव ही नहीं है उसमें हमें क्वांटिटेटिव को भी क्वालिटेटिव मैनर में हम कैसे रख सकते हैं, इन डिस्क्रिप्टिव मैनर. That technique has to be adopted by putting it in the words of 500 words. Okay? और यहाँ पे the NAAC has given us the complete freedom of what sort of documents we can upload it. Okay? So we can upload it, you can say the relevant documents regarding the QLM. So when I'll be taking up the one by one matrix, there we'll be able to understand that how can we upload and what sort of relevant documents can be uploaded for the qualitative matrix also. So now we come down to the first key indicator of the sixth criterion, that is institutional vision and leadership. Okay, and the first metric says that what is it asking us is that the governance of the institution is reflective of, in tune with the vision and mission of the institute. It's a QLM, so you have to describe it into the 500 words. Okay, now the focus what we have to give over here is on the vision and mission, and the governance has to get in tuned with the vision and mission of the institute. So as I told you earlier, the core values of the NAAC, the vision and mission of the HEI, both has to get, you can say, in tune with each other, and then the governance procedure carried out by the leaders and the management of the institute, or the different components of the governance, should be in tune with what is the mission and vision of the HEI. Okay, so again the slide says that the governance जो part of you can say criteria 6 जो है, what is NAAC expecting from us? That the governance is carrying out the governance in a collaborative and coordinated manner. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए इंस्टीट्यूट में सब अपने अपने अकेले काम कर रहे हैं. Nobody knows what is happening in the institute. If there is some course adapted, if there is some activity done, the faculty members, the administrative staff, the management, nobody is knowing anything, or there are a number of faculties and few faculties are not knowing anything, and that is not what is called the efficient governance. Efficient governance should, what is being expected by NAAC is that it should have a proper collaboration, it should have a proper coordination among the components of the governance. Now here is the list of the components, that is the university, academic council, board of studies, management, principal, IQAC, finance committee, UGC cell, students council, different committees in which different faculties are heading, as well as are becoming the members of the different committees, and the faculties themselves. Okay, so these components should interact with each other. There should be a collaboration with each other. There should be a kind of a coordination with each other. For example, I as an IQAC coordinator would collaborate and coordinate with the, you can say, IQAC of the university. Okay, and would have guidance with the IQAC of the university. So that what I can reflect it over here also. That what I can put it over here also. Okay, so the interactions and the collaborations between the different components of the governance should be carried out in a smooth manner, and that is what we have to reflect it into this matrix. Okay, and it should be in tune with the vision and mission. So vision and mission usually of every institute is something surrounding with the holistic development of the students. There is always a holistic development of the students as the main objective of the HEI. If there are no students, there is no institute. There is no higher education institute. So the students are the center point. The holistic development of the student is one of the, you can say, the main vision and mission of the HEI. And this holistic development of the student should be in tune with the vision and mission. So whatever activity you carry out for the development of the students, whether you are inculcating the ICT, whether you are starting with the ICT, whether you are adapting an innovative procedure or process for teaching and learning process, whether you are having an evaluation process, whether you are having a research policy for your institute, it should surround according to the vision and mission, and vision and mission should focus on the core values that is being given by the NAAC. Okay, then we can frame out the policies, executing the policies, all that can be done if this much is clear to us, that how can we coordinate, how can we collaborate, how can we be in tune with the mission and vision. For example, suppose if I want to say that in our institute's vision and mission, the development of the students or the youths of the rural sector is highlighted in our vision and mission. So we have over here the BVOC courses being carried out, the skill-oriented courses being carried out, where the students from the rural sector come and get trained for different skills in our institute, and they are the beneficiaries of that particular skill development programs carried out. So here we are in tune with the vision and mission. We are in tune with the core values with what is being given by the NAAC. Okay, so this is how you have to evaluate the different objectives, the vision and mission of the institute, and see that whether your each and every criteria's activities are getting related to these vision and mission. Okay, and then what you have to submit over here is the minutes of the meeting that we had with different components of the governance and all the relevant documents over here, because this is a QLM. Okay, so QLM में यहाँ पे जो coordination करने में, collaboration करने में, हम formal या informal manner में जो कुछ भी हम लोग काम करते हैं coordination का और collaboration का, वो सारे documents यहाँ पे रख सकें. अगर हम informal manner में, suppose मैं IQAC coordinator of सरदार पटेल यूनिवर्सिटी, जो हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी है, मैं उनको पहचानती हूँ, कहीं पे मुझे बाजार में मिल गए, ओके, हम लोगों ने बातें शुरू कर दी, सर मुझे यहाँ पे थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था, मैं आपको मिलने आ रही हूँ. सर बोलेंगे अच्छा बताओ तो सही कौन सा प्रॉब्लम है. And if I start discussing on the road also, okay, that is called as an informal way of coordinating with the IQAC coordinator. How will you document that? How is it possible to document that informal talks which you had with the IQAC coordinator? You can do it. You can just put a pic of it and you can say that on so and so date I had met the IQAC coordinator and this is how he explained it to me, guided me, and this is how we are collaborating with the university. Okay, so I can talk about IQAC and this is how I'm showing that the IQAC can have a collaboration with the university, with the board of studies, with the management, with the principal. Similarly, each and every component has got to have a collaboration and coordination with each other to show a better you can say description of this metric in the form of QLM for your SSR. Okay, the second one is the effective leadership is visible in various institutional practices such as decentralization and participative management. This is again a QLM. You have to explain it into 500 words over here. Okay, here it starts with the management, that is the local governance. Then the principal, they both coordinate with each other, they both collaborate with each other, and they bring out the policy. What kind of policy should be there? There should be inclusiveness, not exclusiveness. You are including each and every component of the institute while that effective leadership is being reflected for the HEI. Whatever institutional practices you carry out, for that inclusiveness attitude has to be borne by the linkage of each and every component into a participative management. Okay, they have to participate, they have to collaborate with each other. That is what is to be reflected over there. Okay, and according to the NAAC, they are asking for some case study over here. You have to put a case study. I'll give you an example that what case study did we put for our institute over here, and it should involve the faculties in decision making. So faculties, they may be in the role of HODs, they may be in the role of teachers. Then we have the students, and then we have the administrators. Students also should be included in this participative management. We have in the committee and a committee of you can say different activities that we have made, we have put the SRC on paper and in practice also into these committees. Okay, the students do come and sit in the IQAC, do come and discuss with me, do come and discuss with the faculties and the principal of the college. They also have sometimes discussion with the management also. That much of freedom we have got into our campus that we can take the appointment and we can very respectfully talk to the management, you can say authorities also. And that is how we are having a decentralized kind of a management into our campus. Now, what case study did I put over here? The case study which I put over here to reflect that there is a decentralization and participative management in our leadership practices is that, for example, as I told you right now, okay, if I want to adapt some add-on courses, okay, so when we were to submit the proposal of BVO courses, that is Bachelor of Vocation, for community college as well as for the DDUKK, that is the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushal Kendra. Okay, so what we did is that the IQAC submits a proposal, that document is to be made. Okay, that is being then taken by the principal to the management. The management discusses. So every you can say stage you have the minutes of the meeting with you, and then that proposal which is being, you can say, given to the principal is being submitted to the management, and management will give a reflection, and then that course is being added. Now over here, where is that participative management? The participative management is that, okay, the faculties come with their ideas to the principal, okay, and they say that, sir, we want to start this kind of a course for our college and for the benefit of our students. So the faculties come with the ideas, they go to the principal, the IQAC is being called, a proposal is being made, and this is how the whole process of participative management is being carried out into our institute. Okay, see, I sitting in front of you as a resource person as the biggest example of decentralization and participative management. We are given freedom to work over here. We are allowed to work. We are allowed to put our ideas over here because these ideas can work out to bring good name and fame for the institute in the nation. And so we are always encouraged to put forth the ideas, to work for these ideas, to chase these ideas, and to you can say implement those ideas also. So we did this process for the implementation of BVOC and CC and DDUKK into our institute. Minutes of meetings, documents regarding committees, any new initiations taken up, brochures and reports are more important over here, because last day you cannot sit and make the brochure and the report. That will be seen कि ये बनावटी बना के दे दिया यहाँ पे, because there would be some or the other mistake coming, क्योंकि आप रातों रात बनाते हो या कुछ समय में बनाते हैं तो कोई ना कोई मिस्टेक ऐसी रह जाती है जिससे वो पता पड़ जाता है कि ये बनावटी है। तो हमें पहले से बना के रखना है ब्रोशर। जब हम यू कैन से ये प्रोसीजर स्टार्ट करते हैं और इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तब ये इन कोर्सेज का ब्रोशर जो है वो बना लेना पड़ता है। And then the reports also, every year what happened, how many students, how many have passed, what activities being carried out, was there a campus placement or not, and what kind of research work we did, and all that kind of whatever activities that is being reported. So these reports are to be submitted to the NAAC. Then we come down to the second key indicator, that is strategic development and deployment, 6.2.1 metric, and that is again a QLM. The institutional strategic perspective plan is effectively deployed. Okay, as I told you in the beginning that when you are you can say being in tune with the core values and the vision and mission of the HGI, that itself before 5 years, that is a perspective plan. So before 5 years, before you're submitting that before 5 years, you have to make the strategic plan. And that strategic plan is easy to make. How will you take up one criteria, what you want to do into that criteria for 5 years, put it as a future expectations or future planning of the institute, and for each and every you can say criteria you can put up that. Okay, so that is the strategic planning which we are making over here. you can say in our college, in the curricular aspects part, augmentation, I'm just giving one example, augmentation of quality and number of courses to be offered, and additional courses like development and foreign language and e-learning courses is found in our strategic planning. This is one example which I've given for criteria number 1 over here. Over here also, you have to put the documents of, you can say, strategic or perspective plan for 5 years, minutes of the meetings, documents regarding the committees, brochures and reports. You can even give the list of the students, the attendance of the students if they are attending some courses or something of that kind. Okay, so you can give each and every document that you want to upload it to, you can say, prove that, to justify what you have written into your SSR. See, every corner I have written IQAC. So IQAC should be reflected everywhere. That proposal, that procedure should be followed in deploying all the perspective plan and everything. IQAC, it is a document of IQAC. The perspective plan is a document of IQAC. IQAC is making this plan in tune with the principal of the college, in tune with the management of the, you can say, campus. Okay, so IQAC is very much over there. Then the functioning of the institutional bodies is effective and efficient as visible from policies, administrative setup, appointments, service rules, procedures, etc. Here we are showing the organogram, the structural, the organizational structure, and where do we have to reflect these policies, what kind of policies we have to reflect, the recruitment policies. I'll just give one example over here, that we have right now some 7 granting need faculties in our college. So these 7 cannot take all the, you can say, lectures of the college. So wherever is the gap, the management is appointing the faculties, and those faculties are being paid by the management. So this is somewhat the recruitment policy adapted by the institute, and the policy is made by the management कि कब उनको promotion मिलेगा, कब उनको increment मिलेगा, वो क्या करके बताएंगे तो उनको promotion मिलेगा. जैसे for example research में अगर वो बहुत effective रहते हैं तो शायद उनको प्रमोशन मिल सकता है. नेट स्लेट पास होना चाहिए, PhD होना चाहिए, MPhil होना चाहिए. So these policies, they are there into the policy document of the governance, service rule, grievance redressal, etc. are to be put. The documents required are policy documents of the management, appointment letters of the faculties, experience letters, organogram. Even if we have the granting faculties over here, the document of the government also, the sanction post, how much are being appointed, how much gap is left, all that you have to submit over here. Okay, implementation of e-governance. Okay, we are started using the computers and the technology in each and every area of our institute. So we have to give over here the screenshots, okay, of students portal, admission portal, examination portal, ERP that we have adapted into our college, that is reflecting on the website of our college, and that is a logging where the students have to log in and they can find all the material like syllabus and examination notices, timetable, schedules, different activities, the calendar, etc. into the ERP. Then we have the scholarship portal. See, as we are working as an affiliated college over here, some of the portals that we are using is of the government of the university. Okay, few portals we have made for our students, and some internal, you can say, e-governance that can be called as. So we in Gujarat have to refer to CHE Gujarat, that is Commissionerate of Higher Education, the KCG portal, and the Sardar Patel University. The internal governance policies that we have, or the system that we have, is attendance system and identity card with barcode system, electronic messaging system we have the computer webcams for fees collection, biometrics for faculties. These are some indicative facilities which I put. There are many more also in our institute. Mass attendance system that is being given by KCG. We have to download the app into our Android mobile, and we ourselves have to put our attendance. That goes, the information goes to the KCG office, and the automation adapted in the library, okay, the LMS system, etc. are some of the e-governance that we have adopted over here. Documents required are annual e-governance report approved by the governing council, then policy document on e-governance, audited statement, ERP, screenshots of user interfaces, any additional system installed and its document. In the DVV, they would ask you the bills for the expenditure on the implementation. There is always a data template for all the QNM, and so you have to give the numerical data also into that. For e-governance, if you have some contractual agreement or some linkages or some collaborations, then those documents can also be put over here. Okay, 6.3 faculty strategies, empowerment strategies. So what welfare activities you have been carrying out? Here are some indicative welfare activities that we carry out in our institute, that is the teaching and the non-teaching staff. Some of them are in front of you, like free medical checkup and incentives for research publication and technical training, birthday celebrations, tea and coffee being served for free, staff tour, lunch facilities available, etc. So they can be both ways. Some of them can be included for the non-teaching also over here. Group insurance scheme, staff uniform at concessional rates. Support is provided to the children of non-teaching staff who are economically challenged. Jobs on compassionate grounds are given to the family members, and whatever documents you have regarding that, the minutes of the meeting, the proposals given by the IQAC, this kind of welfare activity can be carried out and planned out for our teaching and non-teaching staff. All that can be put one by one over here. Average percentage of teachers provided with financial support to attend conferences, so documents required. So all the teachers would be like you can say attending the you can say workshops and conferences and all that. In cases where the institute has given the membership fee or waived the membership fee in some of the can say organizing or the conferences and the seminars organized in the institute itself, the policy document has to be uploaded into the HE and into the SSRE format. Okay, whatever you have done, how much money have you waived, how much money you have, you can say financial support you have given, all that can be put on the paper. And yes, the institute has to make a policy. Har kisi ko, yeah, you can say in a very hypothetical manner, the institute cannot say that we have given this kind of financial support. Okay, what is the policy document? For example, in our college we had adapted, like if somebody is going to attend the seminar and going to present, they have to present the paper, and after having presented the paper, they have to share the experiences in the IQAC meeting. So that is one of the policy into the document that we have documented. List of teachers received financial support, e-copy of letters indicating financial assistance to teachers. So e-copies are to be put into the uploaded into the SSR format. Audited statement, that is what is NAAC demanding. You have to give, so that there is no artificial showing off, they can say, the financial support given to the teachers. Again, for the professional development administrative training, also the same you can say procedure is being carried out. I'm not going much in detail into that. Average percentage of teachers also going for ongoing face-to-face faculty development programs and all that. So those documents in e-copies and list of teachers participating, because you have to give the data template, so that automatically you are going to make the list of teachers also, and whatever is asked into that, you have to put into that. Annual reports highlighting the programs. Okay, if a teacher is attending more than one professional development program, it is counted as one in that particular 1 year. Okay, and what is being asked in DVV is that if the data is large, the documents related to specific teachers, then you have to produce it in the DVV. Institutions performance appraisal for teaching and non-teaching over here. So we are annually, the IQAC is collecting the API forms of the teachers. Not only that, we have showed that in the, you can say, the academic calendar, academic diary that we give to the teachers every year, where they plan out the teaching, you can say the syllabus and everything. At the back of that diary, a few pages, we have put the documents of API also, and how many seminar, conferences, research papers, etc. they are attending, and you can say submitting, etc. is all given into that diary. So this is how we take the API, or you can say performance appraisal system, that is being inculcated into our you can say system of our college. Not only that, but we have to give the reflections of the feedback also, whether the management is keenly analyzing these APIs of the teachers or not, the promotional rules, the promotional policies also. For that also, these APIs are helpful to the governing body. So policy document regarding that is also to be made, that what kind of expectations are there from the governance of the campus of the institute, and accordingly the teachers have to upgrade themselves for this performance appraisal. The document submitted to the IQAC of the university also for the promotion of the faculties, and copies of API is also to be uploaded into the format of the SSR. The 6.4 is the fourth key indicator, financial management and resource mobilization. So you see, maximum Q&M is there in the third indicator of the sixth criteria. Institution conducts internal and external financial audits regularly. See, external auditors, you can say the AAA, which we have, Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat, that is autonomous body of higher education, you can say sector or commissionerate of higher education. That has implemented the AAA, and we are, you can say, submitting our reports, and we are undergoing the process of AAA, academic and administrative. That is also one of the you can say audit that we are carrying out, the NIRF, the GSIRF. Okay, all these are different audits. The on-the-spot committee coming to your institute also. Sometimes the university is asking for the submission of the report of, you can say, administration and academic reports also. All these are considered to be the external audits. What about the internal audit? What we do over here is that we have created an interdepartmental audits over here. Okay, one department is taking the audit of the other department, or the sister concerns, the principals and the experts of the sister concerns, the IQAC coordinators of the sister concerns, they take the internal audits, so that we can conduct a mock visit of these IQAC coordinators and principals of sister concerns, and we can have a rehearsal and create an internal audit, and those documents can be submitted to the NAAC. Funds grants received from non-government bodies, individuals, which is not included into the criteria number 3. Okay, we had opted for this in our SSR, but some highlights I would like to give over here. Document required is the annual audited statement of accounts highlighting the grants received, copy of letter indicating the grants funds received from respective agency. What is not to be given is funds from the individuals of the institutions or sister concerns, not to be considered over here. Contribution in the form of equipment, if somebody is donating the equipment or software, etc., should not be counted as, you can see, the grant given by the philanthropists. And research grants is already included into the research criterion, so that should not be included over here. Okay, what happened to us in this criteria is that one of our faculty, we call him Bamasha, he has donated round about, I would say, approximately some 7 to 10 lakhs to the management for, you can say, the development of the institute, and sometimes the salary of the, you can say, the self-finance teachers also done from that fund. But unfortunately, we could not include that into this particular matter, because it was given by the faculty of the institute itself. So we couldn't include that, but nevertheless, we went for the option, we opted that in our SSR. Institutional strategies for mobilization of funds and optimal utilization. So here optimization is the main, you can say, focus over here. How do you optimally utilize the funds coming from the government and non-government sections of even from the stakeholders, etc. So management is looking into the system, the accountant of the college is looking into the system, I can say the principal also looks into you can say, how it is being utilized, etc. Utilization of funds, the planning committee can give the proposal submitted to the financial committee, the purchase committee, and the accountants keep the record of that. So this is again a QLM. Okay, now the fifth and the last key indicator is the internal quality assurance system. Somewhat I had talked about it in the beginning also. Now over here, the internal quality assurance cell has contributed significantly to the quality assurance strategies, processes, etc. So we have to give two examples over here. We had given the examples of outreach programs, that is re-monitoring the outreach programs, and we have included some innovative things over here, aspects over here, that is nurture, water harvesting programs, wall of benevolence. We have where you can say the clothes, our old clothes which we are not wearing, are being hung on particular wire on the wall, and the poor people can come and use it. Street plays are being created for social awareness, etc. Mentor-mentee program we not only have the mentor-mentee system that is being shown to us by the NAAC, but we also have the Vivekanand Center for Positive Thinking and Counseling, and Yovan and SSIP, that is through KCG. The institution reviews its teaching learning process, and how is the IQAC. We have to setting up the norms and reviews the teaching learning process over here. So we have two, you can say, set up the you can say two initiatives are being set up by the IQAC. One is innovative teaching and learning methods, where we call the B.Ed teachers into our institute. They taught us how to teach some of the topics. We took the video of that and we uploaded that into the YouTube. Learning management system is also adapted, in which yesterday also sir had mentioned about the Google Classroom, which we have adopted the MOOC method of, you can say, giving the or uploading the e-content through the Swayamprabha and Swayam platform. So you have to give the documents like IQAC proposal, circular of the activities, minutes of the meeting, list of participants, invitation to the expert judges, etc., photographs, everything. The geotech photographs have to be uploaded over here. And the last one is that the quality assurance initiatives of the institute, that include the regular meetings of the IQAC, which we have to upload, collaborative quality initiatives with the other institutes, which we might have done, the orientation program, the audits, etc. Participation in NIRF, those documents we have to put over here, the copies of those certificates. Any other quality audit recognized by state, national, like ISO certification and NBA and international agencies, all that we can put over here. AAA, GSIRF, ISO certification documents can be uploaded. E-copies of the accreditations and certifications, NIRF, ISO certifications can be included. DVV, if the document is very large, then we have to give that. It will be asked in the DVV. So thank you so much. This is what I wanted to reflect regarding the criteria number 6, governance, leadership and management. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
It is excellently presented by our resource person Pillai madam. I think the role of IQAC and how it functions, responsibility of IQAC, all our details are explained by our resource person. We have our principal of that college, Dr. R.D. Modi sir. First of all, we will have some interaction with Modi sir, and then we have go for our question answers. Dr. Modi sir.
हाँ जी, नमस्कार सर।
नमस्ते सर, बोलिए।
नमस्कार सर।
नमस्ते नमस्ते, बोलिए डॉक्टर साहब।
जी साहब। Hello.
It is very excellently explained by the IQAC coordinator of your college, Pillai madam. I want to have some words with Principal Modi sir, and then we'll go for the question answer session.
जी सर, कल मैंने कहा था कि जैसे वो वही बात आज दोहराता हूँ कि जैसे वो कृष्ण रथ चलाता है मगर क्रेडिट हमें मिलता है। जब ऐसे IQAC कोऑर्डिनेटर होते हैं तो इसका प्राउड में होता है, और जो काम करता है उसका क्रेडिट भी मिलता है। उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरह से मेहनत की और हमें बहुत आनंद है, गौरव है हमारी कॉलेज से बिलोंग करते हैं।
Congratulations. Correct sentence. Okay, अच्छा मैडम, बहुत सारा policies and how it is works and governance and leaderships, all parameters nicely explained, academic audits and external audit. Most of the things you share is very nicely audit by sister institutions and all covered all in detail. I think IQAC functioning and role of IQAC compositions and all these things. Okay, I just have some in next presentation I will again take details, because today's session converted towards the role of IQAC and responsibility, that is criteria 6 is very important. Overall, if you look into the functioning of overall NAAC assessment and accreditation, IQAC part is more. Okay, first we will take few questions. There are 4 questions out there. One question is separate performer appraisal for teaching staff and also for non-teaching staff. Whether it is essential, is there any differentiation between self-appraisal of teaching and non-teaching staff? This is a question asked by Mr. Bele.
So we have, you can say, a separate document for the teaching and non-teaching itself. And what is important, more important, is about the teaching faculties appraisal system to be inculcated into the institute. For the administrative staff, we have it at a local level. The policy document is made at the local level by the management, and the principal and the management both scrutinize it. And if you have that system included into your institute, you can upload those documents also. It would be an added advantage if you have that.
Next question asked by Agnes Kharat, madam. Madam, what important parameter we should consider for departmental audit? Please elaborate.
You can just make a sample parameter in tune with this NAAC. What is being asked by NAAC? Those parameters can be taken up, and you can plan out in such a manner. Like, for example, what we do over here is that we carry out the academic and administrative audit with the internal resource persons or experts that we have. And what we do is that we take up each and every criteria one by one. So for 1 week, you can have that audit system, audit being carried out, and parameters that are being expected by NAAC from us. Those parameters can be put over here. That would make our task easier, and you can say more clear to go towards the path of submission of SSR.
Okay, yes. Last question: if a college organizes seminar or conference and a large number of teachers from the same college participate in that seminar, then how it is counted?
How it is counted means it can be counted because the teachers are participating into the seminars and conferences, and why not to count that? It is you can say it can be included as a participation of the teachers, and if they have presented the papers also into that national, especially national and international seminars and conferences, that can be considered under the conference proceedings. There is a column in the NAAC where you can put those you can say information into the conference proceeding part of the SSR.
Okay, very good. Some other one more question is the certificate orientation program completed while working in another college applicable in current college where the professor is working? I think question asked someone.
I didn't understand, sir, what it is.
That question is somewhat different. Is the certificate of orientation program completed while working in another college applicable in current college where the professor is working?
Okay, so the professor has come from the other college, and the professor might have attended the orientation in that college, and can that be produced over here or not? No, it cannot be produced. The reason is that the teacher's joining date would reflect into the SSR report, so that cannot be included. Most probably cannot be included.
Okay, thank you, madam. All questions. MOU, you can write these things now. We are have MOU with this for this purpose.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, and congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, we go for the last vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. May I request one of our senior most faculty members, Dr. Deepak Thakre, sir, to propose vote of thanks of both the sessions. Over to you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Good afternoon. I must say it was a very fruitful session and quite interactive. It is the experience of the resource person that is reflected through the presentation. I am sure it will help us to work in the right direction. On behalf of Mahatma Gandhi Vidyamandir and Arts Science Commerce College Manmad, I would like to thank Dr. Sajna Pillai for her exhaustive presentation. Thank you, madam, for highlighting the minute subtleties under governance, leadership and management.